Hi, I'm Pat Foran. Welcome to Get Labeled Indie Music Roadmap, a podcast for working indie artists, aspiring music artists, and fans. Each week, I interview a different guest who has a proven track record in the biz or related field. I talk with producers, promoters, audio engineers, managers, songwriters, bands, social media experts, veteran and novice artists too, about their experiences and recommendations. I'll get answers to some of the hows and whys of today's music business, which you will find invaluable in navigating the chaotic world of today's music industry. Today, my first guest for my very first episode is Evan Carmichael. Evan is a successful entrepreneur, author, speaker, and business consultant. Let's get going.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, Evan, how are you?
Good, Pat. How are you, man?
Good. Great to see you. Thanks for lending your time and hopefully imparting some great wisdom with us today.
I'll do my best. Let's see what we got.
I started this podcast that's called Get Labeled Indie Music Roadmap. Mm-hmm. And it's mainly for independent musicians, and it's kind of a journey that I've been on. So I'm trying to impart some methods and success stories to leave some, follow some of those crumbs along the trail of success. And I found you through Rena Friedman Watts's podcast, Better Call
Right.
Daddy.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I'm not sure if it's going to be a fit, to have Evan. I mean, it's very generous of you to offer to entertain the thought of doing the first podcast for people starting up their podcast series. And but then I thought, you know what, this is perfect, because an independent artist has to consider themselves in business, right? Music artist. A lot of times we're so focused on the music and like, okay, everything will fall into place. And, along the way, so I'll get my tunes and I'll get a record deal, blah, 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 blah. And, but there's a lot, especially today, there are a lot of avenues to pursue this. There isn't just one way to do things. Years ago, it used to be, you want to try and get a record label to pick you up. You need to get noticed, so on and so forth. There's a lot that's still like that, but it's done in a different way, and there's many ways to do it. So with that, you have to consider yourself a business person and plan things out. Of course, you have to have a good product for music, and have all your ducks in a row as an artist, as far as putting together your talent, packaging your talents, and for presentation. But aside from that, you really need to focus on, okay, how am I going to get this out there? How am I going to get my product out there? What are the ways that the items that I can put into place that will, give me not leaps but steps towards my end goal. So I thought you would be perfect today to, and actually this is going to be the first podcast. So
Great. I love it. Have we started already, or can we go?
Yes. So I've read your book, Built to Serve. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of things that I could identify in the book with, and that I've hit myself. I've had other businesses, but I'm trying to focus on music. The past year or so, after developing fibromyalgia, I couldn't work my regular job anymore, which is in IT. And so now I'm trying to focus that. So trying to focus all my efforts into music. So this is, I think, where, with your book, Built to Serve, I'm going to follow some of the guides from that. some of the suggestions from that. So, okay,
Let,
so
let's
go
dive
ahead.
in and help. Like, I got some advice to help artists. Can we?
Okay.
You want to dive in?
Oh, awesome. Yes, please.
Yeah, let's do it. So, listen. One, I think Built to Serve is great in that it helps you figure out what your purpose is, what your most important core value is, and art makes people feel. Like a great song makes people feel.
Yes.
Music is the fastest way to change your state. To go from feeling low to feeling energetic, the fastest way to do it is not meditation, it's not breath work, it's music. Put on the song for how you want to feel, and you can start to feel like that. And so for artists in creating music, it's trying to think back to, you're really making music for who you are now or who you used to be, and recognizing that there's millions of people who currently are who you used to be, and they can heal through your music too. They can get to a better place in their life through your music too. They can feel like they're not alone. What do people do when they're feeling sad, depressed, totally alone, and like they can't talk to anybody? They put on music. They're listening to your art. It's giving them comfort. It's giving them hope. It's giving them relief. It's helping them feel like they're not the only person who's struggling with this thing. And so of all the things that have the biggest impact, I think music is right up there at the top. I think one of the problems is that people don't release their music enough. I think people don't, they're too protective of it. You're too perfect. I'm not going to get it out until this is perfect and that's perfect. And I have the right microphone and I have the this and that. And then nothing happens. Nothing gets released. And
guilty.
And listen, it's not you, it's everybody, because
right.
we're afraid of judgment. We're afraid of people's opinions. We're afraid of it being put out and nobody's going to listen to it. We're afraid of putting it out and people will listen to it. We're just living in this constant fear and judgment of other people's opinions. And the thing that always helps me, I don't make music, but I make videos, I make content, and that's my version of art. It's thinking about service, that, hey, I can make this thing that I'm making will help somebody feel a little bit better, or help somebody feel a little less alone. And I need to get out of my own way of trying to be perfect all the time. And I think it's, especially for musicians, you've got such an opportunity right now with social media to be creating daily content. I've given people challenges to make a song every day. And either it's your own unique song, depends on how quickly you can come off. Some people are like just great off the dome. Like they're just right away, just riffing, and they can immediately come up with songs, whether that's singing songs, whether that's strumming songs, whatever your version of it is. Some people can go really quick from the dome. Other people need more time, which is fine. But a song or a piece of a song or a line of a song or the behind the scenes of what you're working on with the song every day. If you just have a melody or you just have 4 bars and you don't know how it's going to, most people are just terrified to put that up there. Put that up there. That starts what, you never know which one's going to hit. You never know which melody is going to hit, what little clip is going to hit. But then you can turn into something much bigger, right? You never know that which little thing could then become this big thing for you. And so I think it's the biggest opportunity for especially indie musicians who aren't known yet. This is how you start to get known. I would love to see people do more covers. I think covers are a fantastic way to get exposure. But most people, when they do covers, they cover it in their own style of like, so whatever you do, if you're an R&B musician, you often cover R&B songs. If you're a jazz musician, you cover jazz songs. What ends up happening is you're just a junior version of the person that you're covering. What you need to do is inject your own art into it. So if you're a jazz musician, take Eminem and make him jazz, right?
Yeah.
If you're an R&B musician, take Metallica and make it R&B, right? Like put your own, that's different. It's wild. It's unique, right? Your own style, your own twist, speed up a song, slow it down, make it your own a little bit. And what you're doing is hacking audiences. If you take a Metallica song and you play it like Metallica, you're going to be a junior Metallica. Like you're never going to play it like Metallica can play it.
A wannabe. Yeah.
It's just going to be, you'll be the Elvis impersonator. You're just, right? But if you take the Metallica song and people already know these songs, and then you make it into a rap, or you make it into a classical song, or you make it into R&B or something, it's going to be like, wow, that's such a cool take. I wonder what else Pat's done.
Yeah.
And then they start exploring your archive. And so I think it's one of the biggest opportunities for musicians is, one, to not be perfection, to always strive for perfect. Like we're always trying to get better and improve and work on our art, but just get it up there. Whatever you've got in your brain, get it up there and know that it's going to help somebody. It's going to serve somebody. And look at doing covers that are songs that you like, that are outside your style, and make it your own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good way to, like you said, crack an audience. Well, it's real for me. I'm a songwriter, so I've been for a long time. For me, it's about the song, and it's always been a great song can be done. I forget the name of the song, but there was one I remember. It was a great songwriter, hit songwriter, wrote one a country song that was a hit, and then Boyz II Men did it, and it became a huge success for them. And I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the song right now. But especially at the time, it couldn't get, because that was that was probably, I'm guessing, in the 90s or early 2000s. Today, country music is more, to me, a lot of it reminds me of a lot of Southern rock, like older Southern rock feel, where it's not so country, not traditional country. So today you see a lot of crossover. You have Taylor Swift and people like that have, they sell records across markets. It's not just one genre. So, as you're saying, I think regarding that there's an even greater ability to crack multiple markets, with that, with what you're saying.
Yeah. And don't be so strategic on it, right? Like you still have to like it. This is the part. Yes. Like if you're an artist and you feel forced to do something, it's never going to be great art. Right. It just won't be. It's got to, yes. Art comes from the heart. And so I would pick songs that you actually mess with, like songs that you actually like. If you don't like Metallica, don't do a Metallica cover. It's like you actually like Metallica, but you're a country singer, but you just like Metallica. Great. Start covering them in country, right? Something that you actually like and you could see as an awesome tribute to that band or that artist or that talent that you look up to. For songwriters, release bits of a song, release lines, you might not have the whole thing worked out, but you've got 2 lines that just, you wake up and you're just thinking about these 2 lines and it's in your head. This is kind of looping over and over again. And just release 2 lines. It doesn't have to be a perfect song every time. I remember I had a guy at my workshop last year in Ohio he was a singer. And he came to my workshop and he said, "How long have you been a singer?" He's like, "Oh, I've been a singer my whole life, like decades." This, guy's in his 50s. So, well, what do you want to work on next? Well, I want to be a songwriter. I just sing other people's songs, which is fine and fun and pays the bills. And I have gigs and I support myself, but I don't know. I want to write my own songs. I want to have my own voice too. Like, cool. I love that. How long you been wanting to write your own songs for? Like, I don't know, 15 years. 15 years. And how many have you written? None yet. Dude, you want to be doing this for 15 years and you haven't done anything yet. It's like, okay. And this is in front of a group of, I don't know, 50 people. I said, whatever I'm going to say for the next 7 minutes, doesn't matter at the front. Like, just ignore me. What I want you to do is write down 4 lines. I just want you to write down 4 lines. Whatever comes to mind, don't worry. It's not going to be perfect. You're put on the spot. You got 7 minutes to write 4 lines. Just write 4 lines that feel right to you right now. Forget about me. Forget about the people. I'm going to move on. We'll come back to you in 7 minutes. It's like, okay. He has his notepad. He's writing down his line, 4 lines, So 7 minutes later, I come back to him and said, "Hey, how you doing? How are the lines?" Like, "I got like 6 lines down." Like, "Great. This is awesome. I'm so excited to finish this song." "Great. Okay. And I've got a melody that I'm working on already too." "Awesome. I want you to stand up and sing it for us right now." But it's not perfect. But I just came up with it. I don't know. Like, just do it. Don't worry. We'll cheer you on. It's not perfect. It's better than what anybody else here can do. Just sing it for us. And so he came to the front and he sang his 6 lines and he had some melody with it. And everybody started clapping and cheering him on just because he started. I mean, the biggest thing was just getting it out there. And after he was done, it took, 15 seconds or 30 seconds. So it wasn't like he sang us a whole concert.
Sure.
He started crying.
Hmm.
He started crying. He just broke down at the front of the room in front of everybody. And he's like, I'm not sad. I'm not crying because I'm sad. I've wanted to do this for 15 years. And in the past 7 minutes, I've done more work on it than in 15 years of my life.
Wow.
And I'm getting, chills just thinking about that moment again too. But I think that's what so many talented artists just never do. They just don't create. They don't believe in themselves enough. They don't put it out there. They know that they've got more inside them. You've got more talent. You've got a hit song, even not just commercial success hit, but just people listening to your stuff, and it's changing their lives and impacting them in a way. You have a joint connection. You can make that. You've got more inside you, but just afraid to put it out there. And sometimes that's all people need, is just the permission to be imperfect, and get it out. And so, that's what I think of a lot when I think of musicians, because there's so many talents, so many talented people. I mean, I'm sure, Pat, you see them all the time too, with you being in there. Just so many incredibly talented people. And I think, how are you not more well known? Like, how do people not know who you are? You're crazy. You're crazy good. Singer, songwriters, guitarists, piano, all of them. Like, you're so good. They're just not making enough. You're not putting it out there. You're not, it's not even the business mind that you necessarily need. It's just the permission to get yourself over the courage hurdle to say, I'm going to put this on Instagram. I'm going to put this on YouTube, and people may laugh at it or people may love it. It's not perfect. And I'm just going to keep creating.
Yeah. Well, I host a weekly showcase locally at a club for songwriters, singer-songwriters. And I encourage people to come out all the time. I perform regionally throughout New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. And so I just travel and I play. Don't always make a lot of money doing it, but I just get out and get my music out and try and pick up some fans here and there. And a lot of times the people that I invite to my showcase, they'll get to do a whole set of original music. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the show, I'll talk to them, talk about their set. And they'll say, that's the first time I was ever able to play a whole set of my original music. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you got to do that more.
Yeah.
Like, please. Yeah. Well, see, I think as far as making a living at music for performing musicians, a lot of times the only paying gigs are going to be cover gigs. And when you're in that mode, I feel that you're not putting enough time into your own music. And because you're constantly, every time you get a new gig, like you go to a new club, a new venue, people will come up and they'll ask you for different music that you don't know. And, the pros, I mean, I have some friends who that's all they do is cover music.
Yep.
So they know hundreds of cover music songs. And so they can pretty much go anywhere and just fake it. If they don't know it, they kind of know enough of it,
right,
to get through and please the people. And but
most of the songs are the same chord progressions and pretty easy to blast you.
Yeah, yes, a lot of times.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, the avenue now is online. So what you really need to do is get your music out. And so the trick there is, okay, so let's say we want to have a greater presence on social media. I kind of like Instagram. I like LinkedIn for some of the business aspects, more of the business aspects. And I like Instagram for the music lovers, really. Mm-hmm. I get more attention there than, say, Facebook. Facebook, I don't think, is the best platform for music.
Instagram and YouTube are the two places.
YouTube. Yeah. See, I haven't done a lot of YouTube.
Oh, for sure. Because YouTube
I hate videos.
Well,
I hate doing videos. I remember you were saying that in your book, like you were afraid to do it,
Yeah. I'm like, being afraid isn't a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Like, we've just accepted fear as being a good enough reason. YouTube is ultimately the best because it's the only place where your art lives forever. When you make something on YouTube, in a year, in 3 years, in 5 years, it's still getting you views, it's still getting you attention, it's still getting you subscribers, it's still building your fan base, it's still getting the thing that you made with your heart out there into the world. It's still happening. When you put it on Instagram, you can get a nice immediate surge, but nobody's going back a week on your Instagram, let alone a year or 2 years or 5 years. Maybe an angry ex-girlfriend might be or something, but like nobody's really going back. And so you're constantly caught in this loop of always having to create more, which is fine. But when you're on YouTube, you're making it, and it keeps building. You're building a solid foundation, and just keeps building and replicating itself. I love the idea. So listen, if you're going and doing cover songs at stage gigs, awesome. Like it pays the bills. At least you're playing music instead of waiting those tables at that bar or whatever, right? I mean, it's a better option. We just want to start moving towards our goal of having our own stuff come out. I think the next step would be doing the covers, but put your style on it, put your own spin on it, right? You take a song that everybody would know. And I say they all have the same chord progression, because a lot of the popular songs that people request in bars and restaurants and stuff, they're usually they're pretty basic songs. They're not the crazy chord progression, crazy, Jimi Hendrix finger licks. Like it's not usually that hard to be able to do those songs. But if you took one and just put it in your own style and add some fun to it, the goal is for the people listening to say, oh, that was really like, who is that guy again? Not just another guy at the front. What's his name? Pat? You have a website? You got a CD or something? Can I, how do I follow you? Right?
Yeah.
Because you're taking those songs. So that's the next step. And then you get to your original stuff as well. I think it's really important as well to you have to have a space to create your original work, even if it's only 20% of the time. Like if you're doing 80% covers, or 80% finding your own version of covers to put up, don't let it be zero for your own art. Because then you're just on this, you just feel like you're photocopying your life over and over again. If I have to play Come On Eileen another time or whatever, it's instead of actually having hope that you could create your own thing and build something more. And the goal is just to start shifting those percentages from 80% covers to 75, and then to 70, and then to 50, and then to 30, and then to 10, while people start following you and loving your style to shift towards your own unique stuff.
Okay.
So a lot of musicians, it's great that you get the gigs. Like that's step one. A lot of people never make any money. Like most musicians can't support themselves at all.
Yeah.
Fully financially. So they always have to have some kind of, quote unquote real job to then support their art. But for the ones who've actually made it in the sense like you can survive off of the art, a lot of them end up in just this cycle of never creating their own stuff because they're just playing other people's stuff. And so you have to carve out 20% of your time, whatever, Friday nights, Saturday nights, like whatever it is, you have to carve out time to focus on your own original art. Because if you don't make time for it, it's never going to magically happen.
So as a musician, I'm constantly bombarded by these marketing methods, that are presented, like get on the Spotify list and get on, get more listeners on Instagram or followers on Instagram by, sending your songs out. Probably Facebook too. I don't really pay attention to most of them, but the ones that I notice lately are regarding Spotify, trying to get a leg up in Spotify. So in your book, you mentioned about not spending a lot of money to start your business. Start small and grow your business. So, I don't expect that you're an expert on Spotify, but about Spotify. But so what do we do? So we put out music on YouTube. How do we enhance our presence? Is it necessary to spend a little marketing money here and there for?
Yeah, I wouldn't spend money because if you're hiring a company, you're probably going to get it wrong. They just don't care enough. They're just sending that same message to a million other musicians, and you're a cog in the wheel. And especially when you don't know what you're doing, it sounds great. I mean, the idea is great. Oh, I'll pay $500 and you guys will get me ranked higher on Spotify. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
They're selling the dream. Just like a lot of financial advisors, like, you don't know what you're doing about money, so let's give it to a financial advisor, and they end up taking a lot of the money, and you're barely making anything.
Yeah.
So it's either one, you have to decide if you're going to be the guy who wants to learn the business side. There's a lot of people who see the business as the art as well. So is that who you want to become? Do you want to learn the Spotify game? Do you want to learn the YouTube game, the Instagram game, or not? And and don't let fear be the reason why you say no. Don't let it say, well, I never went to school for this, and that's not a good enough reason. Are you afraid of it is not a good enough reason. Do you just hate it? That's a good enough reason. If you absolutely hate it, never want to look at Spotify charts and never want to pay attention to any of that stuff, and you can't find your art inside it, then I would look to work with someone who knows it, who loves it, who sees that as their art. And the best way to do that is through people who are already connected to you. I wouldn't go hire an agency. I'd be looking at, I know we're coming up on the clock, but I'd be looking at either your friend circle or your fan circle who gets you, who gets your music, who loves Pat's songs and just needs to see these things, like they're pissed off that Pat is not more well known, right?
Yeah.
That kind of person, but their art isn't writing songs. They can't write a song for their life. They admire you're a god to them. Like, I can't believe you can write like that, Pat. But their art is marketing. Their art is understanding YouTube, understanding algorithms. That's who you need to connect with. And whether it's a partnership, whether it's a paid thing, whether I would do it as free at the beginning, like, hey, I'm happy to pay you if my career takes off, and let's make something happen and build this thing together. But most people miss the heart. They're not connected to the heart. Like, the people who come on, the marketing guys who come on, don't care about your songs. They don't care about your music, and don't think what you wrote was great. They're just trying to make money, which is not what you need. Like, you need somebody who's connected to the mission that you're on, because you made your stuff from your heart, and you need somebody to connect to that and then want to go off and help you build it. So there may be people, they may not be the expert yet, but they could figure it out. If they love marketing, they love YouTube, and they love Spotify, they could reverse engineer and figure out how to do it. And you'll get a lot more value and a lot more fun, a lot more work from that person than paying $1,000 to a marketing agency to go and promote your music.
Awesome. All right.
Cool,
well, thank you very much. We're going to wrap this up for you. I know you have to go. And so your book, Built to Serve, is available on Amazon.
Amazon, yeah, wherever you buy books, you can find it.
Okay. And then how do we follow you? What's your link? You have evancarmichael.com.
Yeah, that's my website, and I'm Evan Carmichael on pretty much all the platforms. I'm not a singer, so I don't have a Spotify playlist to go check out, but YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere else, just Evan Carmichael.
Awesome. Well,
Cool.
Maybe we'll talk again further down the road. And I really enjoyed it. I think it's great advice, and I hope some people read your book out of this podcast. It's
Awesome,
a great
Pat.
book.
Appreciate
Awesome,
it, man, and good luck on the new show. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Take
Cheers.
care. All right. Bye. For more information about Evan Carmichael, you can go to evancarmichael.com or do a search on Evan Carmichael on the web. For Pat Foran, you can look up Pat Foran Music on the web or go to patforanmusic.com. You can find me on Instagram, pat.foran, and also on Facebook. You can look up Pat Foran Music. Thanks for listening to Get Labeled Indie Music Roadmap with Pat Foran.